Welcome back to our channel, Zero to English, the podcast dedicated to helping you achieve fluency one practical conversation at a time. We break down real-world English so you can speak confidently in any situation. If you love practical lessons like this, please remember to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special deep dive episode of our English Learning Podcast. Today, we are stepping into a world that feels like science fiction, but it is actually our reality. We are talking about artificial intelligence. I am Perry, and I am a self-confessed tech geek.
And I'm Alan. I am definitely not a tech geek, Perry. I'm more of a traditionalist. I still like my physical books and my paper maps. But lately, I've realized that I can't hide from this topic anymore. Every time I turn on the news, every time I go to an office meeting, and even when I'm talking to my friends at a coffee shop, the conversation eventually turns to AI.
It really is everywhere, isn't it? It is the topic of the decade. But for many English learners, this is a scary area of the language. Why? Because the tech world loves jargon. Let's look at that word first. Jargon. Jargon refers to specialized language used by a particular group. Doctors have medical jargon, lawyers have legal jargon, and tech people have, well, AI jargon.
And the problem with jargon is that it makes people feel excluded. If you don't know the words, you can't join the conversation. So, Perry, today I want you to act as my translator. I want us to take these big, heavy, complicated tech words and strip them down.
Strip them down. That's a great phrasal verb. It means to remove the unnecessary layers so we can see what is underneath. It means to simplify. So let's start with the most basic term, AI, artificial intelligence. We know the words, but how do people actually use them in a sentence?
Usually I hear people say, is this AI powered? Or this app uses AI integration.
Right. AI-powered is a very common compound adjective. It means the engine inside the software is AI. Just like a gas-powered car uses gas, AI-powered software uses artificial intelligence to work. And integration just means that the AI has been added into an existing system.
But here is where I get confused. I recently heard someone say it's not just AI, it's machine learning. They said it as if there was a big difference. Is there?
This is where we need to understand the Russian doll metaphor. You know those Russian dolls where there is a small doll inside a bigger doll?
Yes, the Matryoshka dolls.
Exactly. AI is the big outer doll. It is the general concept of machines acting like humans. But inside that big doll is a smaller doll called machine learning, or ML.
Okay, so ML is a type of AI.
Precisely. In the old days of computers, a human had to write every single rule. If the user clicks this, do that. It was very rigid. But machine learning flipped the script. Instead of giving the computer rules, we give the computer data, millions and millions of examples.
So instead of telling the computer a cat has ears and a tail, you just show the computer 10 million photos of cats.
Yes, and the computer learns to see the patterns itself. This brings us to a very important tech verb, to train. In normal English, we train dogs or we train for a marathon. In tech, we train a model.
Training a model. That sounds so strange. When I think of a model, I think of a fashion model on a runway or a small plastic airplane.
I know, but in tech talk, a model is the mathematical brain that has been created. When you train the model, you are feeding it information so it becomes smarter. Imagine a giant library. The AI reads every book in that library to understand how humans think and speak. That process of reading is the training.
And the library of books is the data set, right?
You're getting it, Alan. The data set is the raw material. If the data set is good, the AI is smart. If the data set is bad, maybe it has a lot of errors or unfair information, then the AI will be biased. Bias, B-I-A-S, is a very important word in AI ethics. It means a preference for one thing over another in an unfair way.
So if I train an AI only using books written by men, the AI will have a male bias.
Exactly. It won't understand the perspective of women because that information wasn't in the dataset. This is why people in the tech world are constantly talking about diverse data.
Let's talk about the phrase that's on everyone's lips right now, generative AI. I see it in every news headline. Gen AI. Why are people so obsessed with this specific type?
Because it represents a shift in paradigm. A paradigm shift is a fancy way of saying a fundamental change in how we do things. For a long time, AI was analytical. It could look at data and tell you, this is a cat, or this is a fraudulent bank transaction. It analyzed things.
But generative AI is different because it generates, right?
Yes, it creates. It's like the difference between a person who can read a book and a person who can write a book. Generative AI can create a new image of a sunset that doesn't exist in the real world. It can write a poem in the style of Shakespeare. It can even write computer code.
That's why people use the word disruptive. AI is a disruptive technology.
Disruptive is a word that tech people use as a compliment, but normal people often find it scary. To disrupt means to break the normal way of doing things. Uber disrupted the taxi industry. Netflix disrupted the movie industry. And now people say AI will disrupt everything.
It creates a lot of hype. HYPE. This is a word we use when something is being talked about so much that it starts to feel like a dream. Sometimes the hype is unwarranted, meaning it's not true. But with AI, many people think the hype is justified.
And because of this hype, we see a lot of buzzwords. A buzzword is a word that becomes very popular for a short time because it sounds important. Words like neural networks or deep learning.
Can you explain neural networks? It sounds biological, like something inside my head.
That's exactly where the name comes from. Scientists tried to build computer systems that mimic the neurons in a human brain. They wanted the computer to think in layers just like we do. So when you hear neural network, just think a computer system that tries to copy the human brain.
So it's a simulation of a brain.
Yes, a simulation. And when those networks have many, many layers, we call it deep learning. The deep just refers to the number of layers. It's like a deep ocean. There's a lot going on beneath the surface.
I see. So to summarize what we've learned in this first part, AI is the big concept, machine learning is the type of AI that learns from data, training is the process of learning, the data set is the information it uses, and generative AI is the new exciting type that can create new things.
Spot on, Alan. You're sounding like a tech expert already.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do feel less intimidated. Intimidated means feeling frightened or nervous because something seems too big or complex. By breaking these words down, the monster of AI feels a bit smaller.
That is the power of language. Once you can name something, you can understand it. And once you understand it, you can use it to your advantage.
Well, I'm ready to move from the what to the how. How are people actually using this in their daily lives and their jobs?
That is exactly what we're going to cover in the next section. We are going to look at the office talk of AI.
Let's keep going. All right, Perry, we've covered the foundations. We know what the machine is, but now I want to talk about the human side of things. I'm talking about the office. I'm talking about the workplace. I hear my colleagues using words that sound like they belong in a factory, not in a modern office. Words like automation and optimization.
It's true, Alan. The language of the office is becoming very mechanical. Let's look at automation first. AUTOMATION. In the past, we thought of automation as a robot arm in a car factory, but today, white-collar automation is the big trend.
White collar, that's a term for office workers, right? As opposed to blue collar workers who do manual labor.
Exactly. White-collar workers are people like accountants, lawyers, and writers. And for these people, AI is automating their repetitive tasks. If you have to copy data from one document to another every day, that is a repetitive task. It's boring, it's slow, and it's prone to human error.
So the AI does it for you. It streamlines the process.
Yes, streamline. Streamline. Think of a fish swimming in water. Its body is streamlined so it can move fast with no resistance. When you streamline a workflow in an office, you are removing the slow, difficult parts so the work moves faster. It's all about efficiency.
But here is the big question, Perry, the elephant in the room. If the AI is doing the work, what happens to the worker? I keep hearing people talk about job displacement.
The elephant in the room. I love that idiom. It means a major problem that everyone knows about but nobody wants to discuss. Job displacement is the fear that AI will take over human roles, but in tech circles, people are trying to change the narrative. A narrative is the way a story is told.
How are they changing it?
They're using the word augmentation, Augmentation. To augment means to make something better or stronger by adding to it. They don't want AI to replace you, they want it to be your co-pilot.
Like we mentioned briefly before, the pilot is still in charge, but the co-pilot does the heavy lifting. I saw an advertisement for a software that called itself an AI assistant. It makes the technology sound like a helpful person sitting at the desk next to you.
Precisely. It's about human in the loop. This is a very common professional phrase. It means that even though the AI is doing 90% of the work, there is still a human in the loop to check the results, make the final decisions, and provide the creative spark.
I see. So the human provides the oversight. Oversight means watching over a process to make sure it's done correctly. But to get the AI to help you, you have to talk to it. And this brings me to the word of the year, prompts.
Ah, yes, the prompt. In theater, a prompt is when someone whispers a line to an actor who has forgotten it. But in AI, a prompt is the text you type into the machine. Write me a summary of this meeting, or create an image of a cat in space. That text is your prompt.
And now people are calling themselves prompt engineers. I find that a bit pretentious. Pretentious means trying to sound more important or impressive than you actually are. Is it really engineering to type a sentence?
Well, there is an art to it, Alan. We call it prompt crafting. If you give a vague prompt, you get a vague answer. If you say, write a report, the AI will write something boring. But if you give a high-quality prompt with details about the tone, the audience, and the goals, you get something amazing.
It's like the phrase we learned, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. If the input is low quality, the output, the result, will be low quality. Modern workers are now focusing on their soft skills to manage the AI. They need to be better at explaining, better at logic, and better at critical thinking.
That's an interesting point. AI handles the hard skills, the math, the coding, the data, but the human has to handle the strategy. Strategy is the big picture plan. Why are we doing this? And is this good for our customers?
Yes, and we have to talk about scalability. This is a huge buzzword in business. If a process is scalable, it means it can grow very large without costing a lot more money. With AI, a small company can behave like a giant corporation because the AI allows them to scale their work.
I also hear people talking about implementation. We are in the implementation phase of our AI strategy.
Implementation just means putting it into action. It's the doing part, but it often comes with teething problems. This is a great idiom. When a baby's teeth start to grow, it's painful for the baby. Teething problems are the small difficulties you have when you start something new.
Like when the AI doesn't understand your specific tone of voice or when it makes a mistake in the calculations.
Exactly. And when that happens, we say the AI has hallucinated. We will talk more about that in the technical section, but in the office, a hallucination is a disaster. If an AI hallucinates a fake law in a legal document, the lawyer is in trouble.
This is why we need validation. To validate means to check if something is true and accurate. In the new office, a big part of your job will be fact-checking AI-generated content.
It's a shift in workflow. You spend less time writing and more time editing. You spend less time calculating and more time reviewing. It's a very different mindset.
Mindset. That's a word for your mental attitude or the way you think about things.
Some people have a fixed mindset. They're afraid of AI and want to stop it. Others have a growth mindset. They want to learn how to use it to stay competitive.
To stay competitive means to be as good as or better than your rivals. In the modern economy, if you don't use AI, your competitors will. It's an arms race.
An arms race, like two countries building more and more weapons. But in this case, it's two companies building more and more AI tools. It feels very high pressure.
It is. But it also opens up new opportunities. People are becoming AI consultants or data curators. A curator is someone who chooses and organizes things, like in a museum. A data curator chooses the best information to train the AI.
I see. It's a whole new ecosystem of words, Perry. I feel like I need to update my resume or my CV just to include these terms.
You should. Even just saying you're AI literate is a huge advantage. Literate usually means you can read and write. AI literate means you understand how AI works and how to use it.
Well, I am certainly becoming more AI literate through this conversation. I understand automation, augmentation, prompting, and implementation.
You're doing great. But now I think we need to look under the hood.
Under the hood, like looking at the engine of a car?
Exactly. We need to talk about the technical words, the algorithms, the parameters, and the neural networks.
I'm ready. Let's look at the engine.
All right, Perry. We have talked about the office, we have talked about the co-pilot, and we have talked about the hype. But now it's time to look under the hood. This is a great idiom for our listeners. It means looking at the inner workings of a machine, just like you would open the hood of a car to see the engine.
I love this part, Alan. This is where we move from business talk to tech talk. And the most important word in the tech world is the algorithm, ALGORYTHM. To a lot of people, this word sounds scary. It sounds like high-level calculus or rocket science.
It definitely sounds intimidating. When I hear people say, the algorithm decided what I should watch on YouTube, it makes the computer sound like a mysterious god.
It's much simpler than that. An algorithm is just a recipe. Think about baking a chocolate cake. Step 1, preheat the oven. Step 2, mix the flour and cocoa. Step 3, add the eggs. That set of instructions is an algorithm. In AI, an algorithm is a set of mathematical instructions that tells the computer how to process data to solve a problem.
Okay, so if an algorithm is a recipe, then what is a large language model, or LLM? I hear this acronym everywhere. People talk about training a new LLM like they're building a skyscraper.
An LLM is essentially a giant predictive text machine. You know when you type a message on your phone and it suggests the next word?
Yes, and sometimes it's very wrong.
Right. An LLM is that, but on a massive scale. It's large because it's been trained on a dataset of billions of words. It's language because it's designed to understand and mimic human speech. And it's a model because it's a mathematical map of how words relate to each other. It doesn't think like a human, it just calculates the probability of the next word.
Probability. That's a key word. It means how likely something is to happen. So if I type "the sky is," the AI calculates that there's a 90% probability the next word is blue.
Exactly. It's all about patterns. And to find those patterns, the AI uses something called parameters. Parameters. Think of parameters as knobs on a giant radio. A small AI might have a few million knobs. A powerful AI like GPT-4 has hundreds of billions of knobs.
Billions of knobs. That is a lot of tuning.
Yes, the process of tuning or fine-tuning is when developers adjust those knobs to make the AI more accurate. They want to make sure the AI is aligned with human values. Alignment is a major buzzword right now. We want the AI to be helpful and safe, not dangerous or rude.
But even with all that tuning, the AI still makes mistakes. We mentioned it earlier, but I want to dive deeper into the word hallucination. When a person hallucinates, they might see a pink elephant in the room. But what does it look like when a machine hallucinates?
A hallucination in AI is when the model is so focused on predicting the next word that it forgets to stick to the facts. It might invent a historical event that never happened or give you a recipe for a cake that would actually explode. The dangerous part is that the AI sounds very confident.
So it's a confident liar. That is why we need grounding. I heard a tech expert say we need to ground the AI in real-world facts.
Grounding is the process of connecting the AI to a trusted source of information, like a database or a library of verified documents. It's like giving the AI a fact checker that stands behind it and says, no, that's not true. Look at this book instead.
Let's talk about how the AI actually sees the words. I heard the term neural networks. It sounds like a brain made of wires.
That's a perfect way to visualize it. A neural network is a computer system modeled on the human brain. It's made of layers. There's an input layer where you ask your question and an output layer where you get your answer. But between them are the hidden layers.
Why are they called hidden? Is there a secret?
They're hidden because we don't always see exactly how the AI is making its decision. This is known as the black box problem. We know what goes in and we see what comes out, but the thinking in the middle is so complex that even the engineers sometimes find it hard to explain.
That is a bit scary, Perry. If we don't know how it thinks, how can we trust it? This brings us to explainable AI, or XAI.
Explainable AI is a movement to make those black boxes transparent. It's the goal of making AI explain why it gave you a specific answer. For example, if an AI rejects a bank loan, the law might require the AI to explain, I rejected this because the user has too much debt.
That makes sense. We need accountability. ACCOUNTABILITY. It means being responsible for your actions. If an AI makes a mistake, who is accountable? The programmer, the user, or the company?
These are the ethical dilemmas of our time. A dilemma is a situation where you have to make a difficult choice between two or more options, and a lot of these dilemmas revolve around data privacy.
Right, because to train these large language models, the companies need massive amounts of data, and sometimes that data is our private information. I hear people talking about data scraping.
Scraping is like using a giant vacuum cleaner to suck up everything on the internet, every blog post, every social media comment, every public photo. People are now asking, do I have the right to opt out?
Opt out. That means to choose not to participate in something. I want to opt out of my data being used to train your AI.
It's a huge legal battle right now, but let's look at a more positive technical term, multimodal. multimodal.
Multi means many, modal means modes.
Exactly. A multimodal AI can understand more than just text. It can see an image, hear a voice, and read a document all at the same time. If you show a multimodal AI a picture of your refrigerator, it can say, I see eggs and milk. I can suggest a recipe for an omelet.
Wow, so it's moving from being a reader to being a watcher and a listener. This leads to computer vision.
Computer vision is the field of AI that allows machines to identify and process images the way humans do. It's what allows a self-driving car to see a stop sign or a pedestrian.
Pedestrian. That's a person walking on the street. So the AI is detecting objects.
Yes, object detection. It's all part of the tech stack. A stack is a group of things. In technology, your tech stack is the group of different software tools and languages you use to build an application.
My brain feels like it has a tech stack that is getting very tall, Perry. We've covered algorithms, LLMs, parameters, neural networks, and multimodal systems.
You're doing great. The important thing to remember is that you don't need to be a mathematician to talk about AI. You just need to understand the concepts.
And the vocabulary. Using words like alignment, hallucination, and grounding makes me sound like I know what's happening under the hood, even if I'm not a mechanic.
Exactly. And in our next part, we are going to talk about the ethics, the good, the bad, and the scary.
I'm ready. Let's talk about the future of humanity. We've seen the brain of the machine, Perry, but now I want to talk about the heart, or perhaps the lack of a heart. We are moving into the world of AI ethics, ETHICS. These are the moral principles that govern how we use this technology.
This is where the conversation gets very heated, Alan. In English, we call this a hot button issue. A hot button issue is a topic that people have very strong, often opposing opinions about. It's a topic that makes people emotional.
I can see why. One of the biggest hot buttons is bias. We mentioned this briefly, but let's dive deeper. If an AI is trained on data from the internet, and the internet contains human prejudices, the AI becomes a mirror of those prejudices.
Exactly. This is called algorithmic bias. For example, if an AI is used to screen job applications and it has learned that historically most managers were men, the AI might start favoring male candidates. It's not that the AI hates women, it's just following a pattern it found in the data.
That is a systemic issue. It means the problem is built into the system itself. To fix it, engineers talk about debiasing. They are trying to clean the data to make the AI more equitable. Equitable means fair and impartial.
But fairness is hard to define in math. Another huge concern is transparency, or the lack of it. We talked about the black box. If a doctor uses AI to diagnose a disease, but the doctor doesn't know why the AI chose that diagnosis, that creates an ethical minefield.
An ethical minefield. That is a great metaphor. A minefield is a piece of land full of hidden bombs. One wrong step and boom. In AI, an ethical minefield is a situation full of hidden risks and moral problems.
One of those mines is misinformation, specifically the rise of the deepfake, DEEPFAKE. This is a portmanteau word, a word made by joining two other words, deep learning and fake.
I've seen these. It's a video where a famous politician or celebrity appears to be saying something they never said. It looks so seamless. Seamless means perfectly smooth without any visible joints.
It's terrifying because it erodes trust. If we can't believe our eyes and ears, how can we have a democracy? Tech companies are trying to fight this with digital watermarking. A watermark is a hidden signal inside a file that proves it was made by a human or an AI.
But it feels like a cat and mouse game. This is an idiom for a situation where two sides are constantly trying to outsmart each other. The people making deep fakes get better, then the people detecting them get better, and it never ends.
It really is. And this leads us to the different camps of people. In the English-speaking tech world, we have labels for everyone. Have you heard of the AI doomers?
Yes, a doomer is someone who believes that doom or total destruction is coming. They think AI will become sentient and decide to destroy humanity.
Sentient, sentient. That means having the capacity to feel, perceive, or experience subjectively. Most scientists agree that AI is not sentient, but the AI doomer narrative is very popular in Hollywood movies.
On the other side, we have the AI optimists or the accelerationists. I saw the letters E/ACC on social media. What does that mean?
That stands for effective accelerationism. These people believe we should accelerate or speed up AI development as fast as possible. They believe AI will solve cancer, stop climate change, and lead to a utopia. A utopia is an imagined place where everything is perfect.
I think most of us are in the middle. We are cautiously optimistic. We see the benefits, but we want guardrails.
Guardrails, like the metal bars on the side of a mountain road that stop your car from falling off the cliff. In tech talk, guardrails are the safety rules and filters built into the software. If you ask an AI, how do I build a bomb? The guardrails should stop it from answering.
But some people try to jailbreak the AI. I've heard this term in the news.
Jailbreaking is a term from the world of iPhones, but in AI, it means using clever prompts to break out of the jail of the safety rules. It's like a game of social engineering, where the user tricks the AI into being bad.
This is why companies hire red teams. I heard this phrase in a business meeting. We are red teaming our new AI model.
Red teaming comes from military training. A red team is a group of people whose job is to attack the system to find its weaknesses. They try to make the AI say racist things or give dangerous advice. If the red team succeeds, the company knows they need more guardrails.
It's a very proactive way to handle risk management. But what about the impact on creativity? I'm an amateur artist, Perry, and I feel a bit resentful. Resentful, resentful, means feeling angry or bitter because you think something is unfair. AI is using my art to train, and now it can copy my style in seconds.
This is the intellectual property or IP debate. Who owns the style of an artist? Is it plagiarism if an AI looks at 1,000,000 photos and then makes a new one? Plagiarism is the act of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as your own.
I've seen it as copyright infringement. Infringement is a legal word for breaking a rule or a law. The courts are still deciding if AI companies should pay artists for the data they scraped from the web.
It's a very litigious time. Litigious, Litigious, means prone to going to law or being involved in lawsuits. Everyone is suing everyone.
It sounds like a mess, but I suppose it's the price of innovation. I just hope we don't lose the human touch. I heard a beautiful phrase recently. AI can write a poem, but it can't feel the heartbreak that inspired it.
That is poetic, Alan, and it's true. We talk about artificial intelligence, but we shouldn't forget emotional intelligence, or EQ. AI has no EQ. It has no empathy.
Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. That is something a machine can simulate, but it can never truly have.
Exactly. So for our listeners, when you talk about the ethics of AI, use these words: bias, deepfakes, guardrails, intellectual property, and sentience. They will help you express very complex human concerns.
It's not just tech talk anymore. It's philosophy talk, it's legal talk, it's humanity talk.
It really is. And in our final part, we're going to talk about how you, the learner, can use this technology to master English without losing your soul.
I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about the language learning revolution. We've reached the final part of our journey, Perry. We've talked about the black box, the Office Copilot, and the ethical minefield. But now let's talk about our favorite subject, language acquisition. How is AI changing the way people learn English?
It is a total paradigm shift, Alan. For decades, if you wanted to practice English, you needed a teacher, a textbook, or a trip to London. But now, everyone has a native speaker in their pocket 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's an incredible resource.
It is, but I have a concern. I call it the lazy brain syndrome. If I can just ask an AI to translate this into perfect English, why should I bother learning the grammar? Why should I struggle with the present perfect or phrasal verbs if the machine can do it for me?
That is the big danger. We have to distinguish between a tool and a crutch. A tool makes you stronger, like a hammer helps a carpenter. But a crutch is something you lean on because you cannot walk. If you use AI as a crutch, your English muscles will atrophy.
Atrophy. A-T-R-O-P-H-Y. That is a medical term. It means when a part of the body wastes away because it isn't being used. So if I don't exercise my brain, my English skills will atrophy.
Exactly. The goal is to use AI for scaffolding. This is a great word for learners. Scaffolding is the temporary metal structure they build around a house while they are repairing it. Once the house is strong, they take the scaffolding away. AI should be your scaffolding. It supports you while you build your own skills.
I love that metaphor. So how do we use it correctly? One way I use it is for paraphrasing. I write a sentence in English, but it feels clunky. Clunky means it's a bit heavy, awkward, or doesn't flow well. I ask the AI, can you rephrase this to sound more natural?
That is a perfect use case. You are comparing your version to the AI's version. You're noticing the nuances. Nuance refers to a subtle difference in meaning, expression, or sound. By seeing how the AI changes your clunky sentence into a fluent one, you are learning the music of the language.
I also use it as a conversation partner. I use the voice mode on my phone to talk to the AI.
I say, let's pretend you're a waiter and I'm a customer. It's a low-stakes environment.
Low stakes. That means there's no risk. You aren't embarrassed if you make a mistake because the AI isn't a human. It won't judge you. This helps with speech anxiety, the fear of speaking a foreign language.
But what about the input? I heard that we should use AI to create comprehensible input.
Yes, we talked about this in our home podcast, but it applies to AI too. You can take a very difficult news article, something from The Economist or the New York Times, and say to the AI, please summarize this in basic English.
Or explain this like I am 10 years old.
Exactly. You are leveling down the content so you can understand it. Then, once you understand the basic idea, you can go back and read the original version. It's a very powerful way to build your vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed.
Let's talk about the word prompting again. In language learning, the prompt is everything. If I just say, fix my grammar, the AI will give me a corrected text. But if I say, explain the mistakes I made and give me 3 exercises to practice, the AI becomes a personalized tutor.
That is the pro tip. You want to be interactive. Don't just be a passive consumer. Be an active participant. You can even ask the AI to give you a vocabulary drill. A drill is a repetitive exercise to help you memorize something.
What about context? I often find that a dictionary gives me 10 different meanings for one word. I can ask the AI, which of these meanings is most common in a business context?
That is where AI shines. It understands collocations, words that naturally go together. For example, in English, we say make a decision, not do a decision. AI knows these natural pairs perfectly.
I've also seen people use AI for role-playing difficult situations, like asking for a raise at work or complaining about a cold meal in a restaurant. You can simulate the conversation before it happens in real life.
It's like a dress rehearsal. In the theater, a dress rehearsal is the final practice before the real show. By role-playing with AI, you're building your confidence.
But we must remember the hallucinations we discussed in part 3. Sometimes the AI will give you a fake rule or a fake word.
That is why you must trust but verify. This is a famous English idiom. It means you can trust the information, but you should still check it against a second source, like a real dictionary or a human teacher.
I think the future of English learning is hybrid, a mix of human teachers for the emotional connection and AI for the constant practice and data.
I agree. AI can teach you the syntax, the rules of sentences, but only a human can teach you the spirit of the language.
We have covered so much in this marathon podcast, Perry. We went from the basic data set to the complex ethical minefields and finally to our own learning journeys.
It's been a fascinating ride. For our listeners, we have a challenge.
A challenge? I love challenges.
Go to an AI tool today, give it a prompt in English, ask it to explain one difficult idiom from this podcast, and then try to use that idiom in a sentence of your own.
That's a great idea. Don't let your brain atrophy. Use the tool, build the scaffolding, and find your flow.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the language of the future.
It's been a pleasure. I feel like a real early adopter now.
You certainly are, Alan. Until next time, everyone, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, the best AI in the world is the one between your ears.
Well said. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.